Let's learn how to speak. I'm starting out well this morning. Hello, everyone. How are you? We're at pattern-collections.com. That is the website I'm using. I'm on the pattern focus page, and I'm going to scroll down to the one I want to do today, which is going to be repeat day, and we're going to do Ruggi. And this one clearly is just a simple grid pattern. We're going to draw a grid in pencil, right? At each of the intersections, we're going to draw a circle. At each of the circles, we're going to do two more around to make it look like a bullet, a target. In between each one of those, we're going to put another little circle. And then from the big target to the little circle, we're going to draw like a triangle and fill it in. Okay? Now, depending on, this is what it looks like when you do it from all four ways out from that circle, or all four ways from around that circle, right? That's what it looks like. But you can do different variations. You can do just two, and it'll look like this. You can do three. That's three here. That's three here. They did two on this one and two on that one. So I don't know. You can do 2 and 3, 3 and 2. You can do just 2 going this way. They all look different. They're all variations. Now on this one, on their sample, see how they did a little bit of shading just here, and they made this really small, this triangle, rather than big. I kind of like that, but I also kind of like this one. So I'm thinking, since they did a really nice job with this sample, that I'll do one of the variations. I think I'll do this one. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. Want to do a nice big let's do a yellow. I feel like yellow. A nice big grid so that we're not too scooshed in there. And this is one of my bigger papers. This particular one, being rectangle, is about 4.5 by 6.5. In case you're wondering, I am going to go ahead and make a 1/2 inch border all the way around. Just to give myself an edge. I like edges, especially on a grid pattern. I like an edge. And so that leaves me about a 3. Somehow I'm not. Was that supposed to be? Was that 4.5? No, it wasn't quite 4.5. Okay, that's why it's not quite 3.5. I don't know. I'm just going to guess at an approximate divider, about like that. What do those end up at? That one ended up at 1 inch. So half would be here, here. That one's half. That one, that's a pretty good eyeball. Dono. Pretty good eyeball. And then half of that would be, if I put 0 in the middle, and go out. Like that. Okay. Okay. Something like that is approximately half, more or less. Close enough. Just make that sort of even. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm going to give myself my best chance at a fairly even grid. Interesting that I'm doing that. So I did those at an inch, not quite an inch, 1 square shy of an inch. Okay, so where's the middle of this? 5 is 2.5, and then another quarter. So the middle is about here. Something like that. And then 1, and then 1 and 1 shorter. Something like that. They're not going to be exact, but they're going to be close. Something like that. I could draw much more precisely, but by the time I put the circles and I erase everything, you're not going to see it anyways. You really aren't. I'm just giving myself the best chance of being semi. There we go. All right. So now I've made myself a grid. Wasted 5 minutes making a grid that probably won't make any difference, but that's okay. Alrighty. Let's use our pen. And inside each one of these, we're going to draw a circle. Right on the crosshairs. Approximately the same size. Ugh. I need to bring out a pillow for this chair. Ugh. I bought myself a standing desk so I could stand at this desk, and then I bought a chair to sit at, a stool. It's still high, and I could still stand, but I sit. I don't know. Don't know what I was thinking. Okay, so this one would be half. Like so. This one would be like a quarter, right? These would be half. That would be a quarter. Half. And a quarter. And a quarter. And some halves. Perfect. Okay. And now we go another 2 rows. Like so. What's that? My piece of paper has a little schmutz. Okay, I'm all the way around the edges. Here we go, wish me luck. Whew. I'm tensing up, and I can feel myself tensing up. My fingers are getting all tight, and I don't want that. I will make a better drawing if I'm looser, if I consciously let go and not draw so tight. There we go. I feel better about that. Oh yeah, much better. I actually control my pen better when I'm not so tight. I can see a difference. I don't know if you can see a difference, but I can see a difference, and I definitely can feel a difference. My hand isn't getting all crampy. Now I know my circles aren't super circular, and the only way to really fix that and to make it better is to practice circles of various sizes. So if I want to improve my circularness, like that one really got not circular. If I want to improve my circularness, I just need to practice making circles. Now in between each of these, we make a smaller circle. Like so. I'm good with little circles. It's when I get to the bigger circles that I have less control over my muscles. And that's just because they haven't practiced. It's not because I have any innate ability any more than you guys do. It's just practice. That's all it is. Okay, that's looking good. Okay, so what was I going to do? I was going to do just this way, right? Okay, I'm going to do some questions from my book while I'm at it. Did those already. If you could have been the producer of any single television show or series, which one would you pick? The producer. Not the director, not an actor, the producer. Interesting question. What do producers actually do? I'm not sure. It's a serious question. What do producers actually do? Do they just put up the money and say yes or no to writers and directors and actors, or what does a producer do? I am not sure. Good question. That's one for the interwebs. What does a television producer do? A television producer is a person who oversees one or more aspects of a video production on a television program. Some producers take more of an executive role in that they conceive new programs and pitch them to television networks, but upon acceptance they focus on business matters such as budgets and contracts. Well, that sounds like a horrible job. I don't want to be a producer. Let's be the producer of I Love Lucy. Although I think Lucille Ball herself was the producer. I don't remember. Or was it Ruggi? Who was the producer of I Love Lucy? Jess Oppenheimer was the producer he was the producer and head writer of the I Love Lucy show. Learn something new every day, don't we? Clearly, you don't usually hear about producers. Producers are they're not the ones in the spotlight. They're behind the scenes, which is exactly what I would want to be, not in the spotlight. Behind the scenes, I'm not sure I would be head writer, but I guess you don't have to be the head writer to be the producer. I think there are a lot of classic TV shows that have stood the test of time, but I think I Love Lucy is one of the best and one of the most famous, and one where even kids today know what it is. It has stood the test of time, and I think that's awesome. Now, I want to maybe get a bigger pen and fill in those triangles. It's usually easier to color in with a little bit bigger of a nib. I'm still not at a big nib. This is a 0.5, but it's bigger than the 0.2 that I was drawing with. And I think I'm going to do a little bit of shading as well on these by putting a little bit extra on just this one side. Like this. Just like that. So it makes them a little more three-dimensional. I'm going to do that as we go along here. Normally, I would put the border, but for some reason, I'm not feeling it, which is odd. I missed some triangles here. Okay, next question. If you could own any single newspaper in the world, which one would you pick? I would have to say Pasadena Star News, which is not a very popular newspaper. But it's the one my grandfather was the editor of back in the day. So that would have to be, that's the one I am. Have a tie to. Although I must say, I think that current news outlets, all of them, are just so biased that they no longer can give you accurate news, so who knows. Maybe if I owned a newspaper, I could change the tone of the world by changing what we publish and make it a good news only newspaper. That would be cool. Where even in the midst of difficulties, that rather than focusing on the tragedy of the day, because within every tragedy, I believe there is a good news story. I do. You can find it in the helpers. You know, who were the people that came to the rescue of the person who was in distress? Who are the people that, stepped forward and did good in a terrible situation? And I believe, I do believe truly in the depths of my heart that there are good things to report in every single situation. And I would change my newspaper to the good news. That would be the name of my newspaper, the good news, and it would be reporting on the good stuff that happens in this world, because there is so much good stuff that happens in this world, and we just don't ever hear about it anymore. The newspapers are only publish the bad news, and they didn't used to. You know, back in the day when you had little local newspapers that just reported on the local stuff, not only did you get the things that went wrong, you know, crime and so forth, but you also had the good stuff. You got reports of weddings and births of local residents. You got, you know, the church fair and the happy things that happened to the residents of the town, graduations and parades, and you got all of that as well. I believe you had a much more balanced view on the world. When we only watch the news to hear about the negative stuff, we become very cynical people. And which is why I've really turned off most news stations. I do, you know, listen to the occasional news, but rather than having, I mean, it used to be, there were times and people in my life who really, really watched the news, and the news was on, like, seemed like 24/7, you know. My uncle was one of those. He got up and turned on the news, and then he listened to talk radio where the news was on all the time, and I believe that you really get a skewed perspective on the world when you do that. You only hear the bad stuff, and you really need a balance. So in order to help balance the world, I would totally have a good news newspaper that just did the good news. You know, we would find the stories about the helpers, about the people who do good things, about the dog that rescued the child, or the, you know, the doctor that saved the day, or the police officer that or the fire rescue personnel that rescued the person who was lost in the mountains. You know, yes, it was a big story that there was somebody lost in the mountains, but then there's the story about the people who put themselves in danger to rescue that person. Those are the stories that you need to hear. You need to hear the stories of the people who are the helpers in this world. And it changes your perspective on life. It really does. Boy, I got off on a tangent today, didn't I? You never know what one of these questions is going to spark in my brain. I got a weird brain. Let me know in the comments below. If there was such a thing as a good news newspaper, would you read it? I'm serious, would you? Or would you think that that's a bunch of hooey and that you didn't need to hear good news? I'm just genuinely interested. I'm going to erase all these middle cross grid lines. Oop. think because of the way I did this, I want to make a frame. I need a softer pencil. Where's my soft pencil? Hello, little number 6. There you are, number 6. I'm going to go in here with my soft pencil, and then I'm going to just blend that out, and you will have a shadow but not a hard edge for a frame. And then I need to decide 2 of the edges need to be thicker. Maybe this one and this one. Why? Because that's going to be where my light source. And I'm going to use my big blending stump and just give that a big old smudge. Just like that. Just like that. Boom. Now it's inside a frame. And this was called Ruggi. And it was repeat day. Okay, there we go. I like it. What do you guys think? Yeah, let me know in the comments below if you would read a newspaper called The Good News, and it was just filled with good news. I'm curious. I almost feel like I need a deeper shadow right there. I want to make these stand out even more. I wasn't going to do that, but it's calling to me. Sorry folks, I gotta fix it when I see it. It's calling to me and telling me it wants me to do that. Okay, like that better. And then maybe a little going this way. Where's that one where I picked up more graphite? Okay, like that better. All right, you guys have a great day. I will see you on the next video. It's going to be Friday. What's the next video? I don't know. World Ocean Day? Don't know what World Ocean Day does. Oops, I went the wrong direction. I was going to go out. You saw the whole thing. There you go. World Ocean Day is what's coming up next. You guys have a great day. Do something nice for someone today. Look for the good stories in amongst the bad. Look for the helpers. Look for the good news within any bad news that you happen to hear, and it will change the way you look on life. It really will. And I think everybody needs a little bit of that. And I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.